WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. New developments tonight in the death of a Chickasaw County woman. Okolona Town Marshal Tommy Ivy Sr. confirms to WCBI that there were 4 people arrested in the case. However, he would not release those names to WCBI. On December 17th, 42-year-old Titaleo Smith was found dead in a yard on Monroe Avenue in Okolona. Autopsy results show Smith's death was a homicide. Ivy says more information could be released tomorrow. In other news, several tornadoes touched down in our area during yesterday's severe weather outbreak. The National Weather Service confirms an EF1 tornado struck Atala County. Crews were working through the night to remove debris and down power lines after the storms. Hundreds of residents also reportedly lost power. The National Weather Service is expected to survey up to 8 counties throughout the state today. One of those counties was Choctaw County, where hundreds were left in the dark. Our Stephanie Poole joins us live in the studio with more on what electric crews are doing to get the lights back on. Stephanie?
Yes, Joey, around 5 o'clock last night, over 3,000 families were left without power. Today, 4 county electric power crews worked around the clock to restore power in Choctaw and Oktibbeha counties.
Sunday's storm left a tangle of downed power lines and trees.
We're finding some scattered stuff this morning, services to houses that we're working on, a couple of broke service poles this morning.
Cliff Wall, 4 County Manager of Consumer Services, says those strong winds left many customers in the dark, especially in the Ackerman area.
Broke 3 of our double circuit poles out of our Ackerman substation, and at that point we had about 2,000 people out in Choctaw County.
At that point, Wall says it was all hands on deck to get power restored to those homes as quickly as possible.
We have guys that are on call 24/7. They're the first responders to the outages. Then we contact our crews if need be to start rolling into the office, get the trucks, find out what kind of materials we need, and then we head to where the lines are down. We sent 2 crews to Choctaw County last night to take care of those double circuit poles and had pretty much everybody that could get back on by midnight last night.
And their efforts paid off. Wall says as of Monday afternoon, they were down to about 20 homes without power. WCBI's meteorologist Jacob Dickey says Sunday's storm brought damaging wind speeds.
To knock down power lines like in Choctaw County, we'd have to see winds at least 60 miles an hour come on through. And even for trees in the area, the severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings generally means winds above 58 miles an hour. Still around here, our ground was saturated, so we had trees coming down in 30, 40, 50 mile an hour winds. The National Weather Service will make the final assessments on if damage is from a tornado or from straight line winds.
Meantime, 4 County Electric is making sure their customers aren't left in the dark.
Wall says those 20 homes that are without power should have their power restored by this evening.
And Stephanie, Jacob mentioned they were going to be doing some more storm surveys in your story, and that they have. The National Weather Service has actually confirmed 3 additional tornadoes occurred through Atala and into Choctaw County yesterday. The same storm just kind of leapfrogged around through Atala County. All of these were in EF1 with winds of about 100 miles per hour. The good news is no tornadoes tonight. It is a very nice night all across the area. It is a little chilly, though. Temperatures are down into the 40s, on their way down into the 30s this evening, so definitely want to grab that coat and bundle up if you're headed out. Low of 34 tonight with clear and cold conditions. I have your New Year's Eve forecast and that New Year's Day update coming up in just a few minutes. Joey?
3 people are dead, including a gunman, after a shooting during Sunday services at a Texas church. The shooting is putting a spotlight on church security. Around here, pastors are assuring their congregations that church is still a safe place. Our Cash Matlock joins us live from Life Church in Columbus with more on the story. Cash?
That's right, Joey. Here at Life Church, church leaders tell me that security checks actually start right here in the parking lot, sometimes without church members even knowing about it. When video of the Texas church shooting surfaced online, Life Church pastor Jody Andrews didn't know what to think.
It's hard to believe again, another incident like this.
Life Church has an official security team, some of them with a law enforcement background.
We have some law enforcement that are part of that team, and then just regular ongoing parishioners in the church that are just interested in keeping the area safe. We actually have an unmarked security person in the parking lot already outside the building that's always keeping an eye.
Andrews says every time a similar news story breaks, he has to have a meeting with his team.
We'll talk about those things. Like we actually look at the situation and say, if this happened, what would we do?
Some of his team members are allowed to carry guns.
Most of them are concealed, like no one would know. From time to time, we do have law enforcement that may be identified, whether it's by uniform or by badge or something like that. And some of them we will have an officer from time to time that will open carry. We want them to feel safe. So we definitely want that culture to be here, a safe atmosphere and a safe place for families to meet.
For anyone concerned about their safety at church, Andrews has one thing to say.
Don't stay away from a place of worship because of these situations. Don't let your regular routine change. Things can happen anywhere at any time, whether you're at the mall, whether you're out to eat, whether you're in a church service somewhere. People are people, and you're going to have situations happen all the time.
Andrew says his church has been praying for those affected in the Sunday Texas shooting, as well as those in Saturday's anti-Semitic attack in New York. Reporting in Columbus, Cash Matlock, WCBI News.
All right, thanks a lot, Cash. In other news, a new year means a new sheriff for Lowndes County. Our DeAndrea Turner was at today's swearing in and talks to the county's new top cop about his plans. She joins us live in the studio with more. DeAndrea.
Eddie Hawkins' career in law enforcement started with Columbus Police Department back in the 1990s. Now he will lead the Sheriff's Department. After taking the oath of office today, he talked to me about his new goals for the agency. With his right hand on the Bible, Eddie Hawkins was sworn in as the new Lowndes County Sheriff. Now he's ready to hit the ground running.
One of the first things I want to do is come in and look at our standard operating procedures and sit down and go over and make sure that we're complying with all state and federal laws and using the best practices that we can for the citizens of Lowndes County and the department.
Hawkins wants to add new equipment to the patrol cars.
One of my biggest goals is to work with the department and try to implement computers in the vehicles to advance the department forward.
The longtime lawman believes that the computers will allow deputies to spend more time patrolling in the streets.
By placing computers in cars, it's going to increase visibility with the deputies in the neighborhoods and the communities where we need to be and help provide better service to the county.
Hawkins worked for the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics for 20 years. He believes that experience will help the department in the future.
Well, my majority of my career is working in narcotics field, and for the last 20 years, I've been working for the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics. So I bring a lot of knowledge in the investigation world to the department, that a lot of contacts and resources and things like that I want to use and implement throughout the department.
And Hawkins was sworn in as the interim sheriff today. His elected term begins on January 6th, where he will be sworn in officially as the sheriff for the next 4 years.
Lowndes County's new Chancery Clerk also takes the oath of office today. Cindy Good defeated Columbus Councilman Joseph Mickens in the general election. She has worked in the Chancery Clerk's office under the retiring Lisa Younger niece. Good says there are only minor changes she wants to make in the office.
We have a great flow that Lisa set in place several years ago, and her father, but we do have some things that we are going to not necessarily changes, but maybe upgrades, like with the computer system, maybe the debit and credit card use, and some things like that. You know, times do change, and we need to just begin to go with the flow.
Niece served 4 terms as Chancery Clerk. There is also a new face on the Lowndes County Board of Supervisors. Trip Harston was sworn in as the District 2 Supervisor this morning. He tells WCBI that he wants to have better coordination between the county and the city. Harston also wants to see workforce training continue to grow at the university. In the meantime, he will rely on the experience of his fellow supervisors.
They seem to be a good board that works well together, and I expect to fall right into that. Also, you know, I have a lot to learn from them. These guys, none of them have served any less than one term, so, you know, a lot of them are seasoned supervisors, so I expect to learn a lot from them.
Harston replaces Bill Brigham, who did not seek the election. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve, and we have some celebration tips for you when we come back.
You're watching WCBI's News at 5 with Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. This time tomorrow, New Year's Eve celebrations will be starting up. Columbus police are reminding folks in the city that fireworks should not be part of the party. Fireworks are banned in most cities throughout the area, and those bottle rockets could end up blowing up your wallet. The ticket for lighting them up, $250. But Police Chief Fred Shelton says there are also serious safety concerns.
We've had situations where they have exploded in people's hands, where they have caused accidents, where glass has shattered. People, instead of using them the right way, they have thrown them at people. And again, a lot of injuries to the body and to people's face, especially when you see people that want to put a bottle rocket in a Coke bottle and shoot it off, and then that firework backfire and that bottle explodes.
Based on the distance of the structures here in the city of Columbus, there is a chance that if you're not in an open area run by professionals, they're always over water or in a big giant field. Yes, you can catch a neighbor's house on fire, or the hedges, or maybe some miscellaneous trash piles around your property.
Shelton says the law has been in place for more than 30 years. Well, there will be skyrockets in flight in Tupelo tomorrow night. The city is planning a huge street party downtown to ring in the new year. Tupelo's first New Year's Eve bash will feature 2 music stages, food, a special early ball drop for the kids, and a Tupelo-themed ball drop at midnight. Organizers say you don't have to travel hundreds of miles to bring in the new year in style.
We're encouraging everyone to stay locally and to eat in Tupelo and get out and see downtown Tupelo in a way they probably haven't seen it before. With 2 music stages going, it'll kind of remind a lot of folks that remember the Ole Put days. It'll kind of have that feel of the streets down Main Street being closed and music on each end of Main Street, so people can kind of roam around downtown and see some great friends and celebrate the arrival of 2020.
And some lucky partygoer could be riding into the new year with a new car. A Toyota Corolla is being raffled off during the celebration. Sounds like a lot of fun, and the weather will be great.
It will be nice. Definitely a change from what we saw yesterday. It's actually really quiet across the area right now, and that's good news to end 2019 and begin 2020. But there is rain on the way. I'll break down what that means for your New Year's plans coming up right after this.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
A big change from 24 hours ago after we saw those storms yesterday. We're now starting to dry out. An absolutely gorgeous day across the area with lots of sunshine everywhere. But now that cold front has passed through, it is definitely chilly out there. We're 46 already in Columbus, 47 in Tupelo, 46 for our friends over in West Alabama. We're 45 in Winona right now. And I think everybody tonight is on their way down into those 30s. Now, hard to believe 2019 is finally coming to an end. So before we say hey to 2020, let's take a look back first. So the highest temperature recorded this year in Columbus was 99. We were just shy of that century mark. That was on October 3rd. Our lowest temperature was in November. We hit 17 degrees here in the Friendly City. The rainiest day was also in October on the 25th. 3.5 just about inches of rainfall. And our total rainfall for the year, assuming we don't have any more rain for the rest of the year, which is extremely unlikely, is going to come out to 76.5 inches. And if you notice, our normal for the year is 55.5. So we are well above average, but not as above average as Starkville was. Take a look at this. In Starkville, average rainfall for the year, 55.07 inches. This year, we racked up 89.5 inches of rainfall in Starkville. That sets the all-time rainfall record for the year in Starkville recorded over at Mississippi State University, and a lot of other areas likely hit that rainfall record, but Starkville and Tupelo and Columbus are the only areas that officially record that in our area. Overnight tonight, some areas could get close to the freezing mark. We'll call it 34 in Columbus and in Tupelo, also over in Coffeyville, 33 for our friends in Calhoun County in Bruce, 34 as well in Macon, and 35 over in Aliceville, Alabama. For tomorrow, kicking off those New Year's Eve festivities, we'll get up to the mid-50s by the afternoon. Still pretty chilly, might need a light jacket, but notice no clouds anywhere to be found. Plenty of sunshine and blue sky all across the area. And I think the clouds will stay away even into New Year's Eve evening, but it is going to be chilly out there for those fireworks. We'll be down into the 30s. But the good news is no rain expected for New Year's Eve. I think any fireworks or parties that you're having will be okay as long as you grab that jacket. Now, I mentioned those rain chances. That's actually coming later in the week. We've got this disturbance down in the Gulf. That's a low pressure area. And as it starts to come ashore here, it's going to bring in some of that Gulf moisture through the day on Thursday. I think Thursday's really looking like a soaker. Rain just about all of the day, if not definitely a gloomy day with temperatures in the 50s. Good news is no severe weather or storms expected, but some areas could certainly rack up anywhere from 2 to 3 inches if everything pans out. After that, maybe a few morning showers on Friday. I think much of the day Friday is dry. Once that front passes through, much colder for the weekend, down into the 40s for Saturday. The good news is the first weekend of 2020 is looking nice with maybe a few clouds on Saturday.
Not a bad looking
Not at
forecast
all.
there. Just get through Thursday.
Got one little bump in the road, but
yeah.
we can do it.
And the good news is clear skies for fireworks.
Absolutely.
Coming up. So.
I made that happen personally. So.
Well, I'm glad you called in that favor,
yeah, for sure.
especially after yesterday.
Yeah, we needed it.
All right, thanks, Trevor. Well, the Bulldogs cap off the 2019 season in Nashville. Courtney has an update from Music City when we come back.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Sports coverage of the Music City Bowl is brought to you by OCH Regional Hospital and the Columbus Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Welcome to Nashville, Tennessee, the home for just one day to the Music City Bowl, the matchup between the Mississippi State Bulldogs and the Louisville Cardinals. Now, getting to Nashville for Mississippi State, no easy task. They finished the season 6-6. However, go back to November. At the beginning of that month, the Bulldogs with only 3 wins to the team's name. It came down to the rivalry matchup between Ole Miss and Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. The Bulldogs pulling out the win against the Rebels 21-20 and clinching the Bulldogs' 10th consecutive bowl game. MSU head coach Joe Moorhead very ecstatic to be here in Nashville, but getting to the postseason did not come without a whole host of trials and tribulations for the Bulldogs. The other day in practice, starting quarterback Garrett Schrader getting into a fight with linebacker Willie Gay. Gay breaking Schrader's orbital bone. Now, Schrader, not the starting quarterback for the matchup in the Music City Bowl. It's going to be Tommy Stevens who will get the start. Schrader forced to sit on the sidelines. MSU head coach Joe Moorhead saying they're not changing up much of the scheme because of that. Now Moorhead saying they just want to move on. They dealt with the issue internally, and it all comes down to now finishing out the season the way they want to with the momentum they want to.
Tommy was taking in the twos. They weren't running different plays. They were just, it's the number of them that they run. The ones get more reps than the twos. So Tommy had been operating all those plays. So there may be a little bit of a difference in what we emphasize relative to play call based on Tommy's strengths and Garrett's strengths. But you know, it doesn't change anything. It's just the repetitions are changed. Really, who it affects is KT, not Tommy.
Every opportunity that I did have to start, I mean, I'm talking like way back, even my redshirt freshman year at Penn State, I always took it as I was the starter and continue to do the same things here, even when I was the starter, when I haven't been the starter. So there have been no changes as far as how I've prepared.
Coach Moorhead reaffirming that Schrader is in fact okay after that fight the other day. Schrader did in fact make the trip to Nashville. Unfortunately for the freshman quarterback, who'll only be able to participate in this game by cheering on his fellow Bulldogs from the sideline. Moorhead very adamant about the fact that the Bulldogs have moved on since that altercation during practice earlier this week. Now the focus for Mississippi State just winning the Music City Bowl and advancing to a 7-6 record on the season. For all of the latest information for a full game recap, make sure you tune in tonight to WCBI Sports at 10. Reporting in Nashville, Tennessee at the Music City Bowl, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
Well, the end of our 2019, luckily not filled with any more storms. We're going to have plenty of sunshine tomorrow and even for the first day of 2020, but not long after that, rain's going to fill in. Pretty rainy day for us on Thursday. Friday, looking like maybe that'll start to clear out a little bit. The good news is, looking ahead, the weekend, first weekend of 2020, looking dry, a little chilly though, down into the 40s for Saturday.
Yeah, it'll be good to get that rain out of here and have a nice weekend.
Yep.
Good New Year's Eve as well.
Yep.
Just to update, the Music City Bowl, Mississippi State lost 38-28. Courtney, Chris Bolton in Nashville. We'll have an update tonight at 10. Thanks for joining us.